everybody. Thank you for joining me for our very first Magnum OPUS Podcast. It's me, your host, Drew O'Neill, and this will be our musical journey together. Welcome to a podcast that's really dedicated to exploring music that revolves around campers and you guys and previous experiences and exploring questions and all that fun stuff. Really, throughout our time together, we're going to be interviewing musicians, we're going to be discussing current musical events, learning about composers old and new, we're going to listen to compositions made by you guys, which is pretty exciting. We're going to be exploring some of the best practice techniques that we've picked up over the years, and we're going to be answering burning questions that people come up with as we explore. Today really is just going to be a simple day. It is our launch of today's podcast, so really I don't have too much for you guys yet, but upcoming I do have interviews and all that fun stuff we just listed. So for now, I really just want to focus on telling you about our upcoming musical program. Our Music Journeys program through Opus begins in January and runs until May. And these are a series of masterclasses that kind of offer students the ability to explore more of what they loved about Opus's previous exploration classes. And if you guys remember, if you've ever attended Opus, we had these faculty that were dedicated really to kind of helping you guys, whether it was through electric instruments or some of you did composition. Most recently, we had fiddling. So if those were those classes, you were like, oh my gosh, they were some of the best classes at Opus. This is really something you guys want to check out. Starting in January, we get to jump in with 4 masterclasses in music composition. February, we get to feature digital music creation. So it's kind of like GarageBand if you really enjoy stuff like that, Logic Pro, all that fun stuff. March, we magnify the fiddle, which we did do this most recent year, and that was a ton of fun. April allows us to delve deeper into chamber music, which is a little harder to do virtually, but that's all the things we're going to explore. And then May moves us on to improvisation. And improvisation, if you jazz cats are out there, then that's, is probably one of the scariest things that musicians shy away from. It's always going to be like a new field anytime that you play it. And new is pretty scary. So if you're like myself and you constantly hunger for new content to keep busy during a admittedly sedimentary quarantine life, then let me tell you, this is the place for you. Every week we have new content. Every week in January we're going to have these new master classes. We're going to be sharing stories. We're going to be sharing details, practice tips. Who knows what's going to come up? So really, I have like an outline here that we're going to follow, and maybe in 2 weeks I'll just throw that outline out. Or recycle it, rather. So we just know we're going to explore awesome musical things together, but we don't know what they're going to be. So please join us from week to week. It's going to be super, super fun. This podcast is free for you guys. I'm super excited for that. It has a new spot on our Opus website. And if you've never visited the website, shame on you. But it's very easy to access. It is www.napopus.org. So that's www.nap, as in the word nap, opus.org. Must be over 13 to go visit. But you can see all of our websites information there if you've never been to Opus, which also shame on you if you haven't. And there's a separate tab for the Opus podcast released weekly starting today, November 7th. So we do have a 2-month early access before any of the other masterclasses go live. Super, super exciting. And in this time, the 2 months prior to all of our Opus masterclasses, this is when I am going to delve in to a lot of questions regarding practice techniques. I get to have a couple interviews set up. I'm still reaching out to maybe check in with Orion so we can talk about all these cool things. Now, I am super, super excited for it, and I hope you guys are too. So thanks for joining me for our first launch party of the Magnum OPUS Podcast. This is going to be a ton of fun. So stick around, don't go anywhere, and if you want to know more about these master classes, check out that website, www.napopus.org, and I will see you guys there. Thanks, everybody.